Ahoy, this is Zdenka. What's in my camera bag 2025. Every year, my gear in my camera bag changes slightly depending on the latest technology and my production needs. Now, it's the perfect time of the year to create this video because we are between the seasons. Winter is leaving, spring is coming. Once the snow melts, everything just looks very muddy and just dark and wet. So it's not that scenic right now to film outdoors. So let's get this done. Let's start with the camera bag. A couple months ago, I introduced DJI Tech 1 Pro Focus on this channel. And I promised in that video that I would take it out a few times and then share my thoughts based on my experience, what I really think about that backpack. So here we go, the positives. The waist strap is a lifesaver when you carry it for a long time. The weight is not on the shoulders anymore. The comfort is there for sure. It does feel great on the back. The negatives for me is the process of putting it on. As I was filming in the winter, I was wearing a winter jacket, so it's kind of bulky. And when you have to put the straps and then locate the waist strap, put it on, it was a little bit of a process. I unfortunately had to do it many times because I needed to change the gear often. So for me, I will be using this bag only when I'm going to be filming outdoors for long periods, or if I need to bring lots of gear, as this one is bigger. For shorter shoots, I will stay with DJI Tech 1 Mo backpack. The main camera hasn't changed for the last few years, and I'm definitely not planning on changing it for the next few years. It's Sony a7S III. The main lens is also staying the same, Tamron 17 to 28 millimeters. On this lens, I have freewell magnetic filter set. I also had these for a few years now. There is not a scratch, they are simply amazing. The outdoors microphone I use is Comica Vimo C. Out of all the microphones I've reviewed, this one is still my preferred choice. I'm used to this now, never failed me, and it's very easy to use. So this is my main outdoor camera setup for the type of tutorials I make here. And here comes the first big change. A few times I left the main camera in a studio and I brought with me DJI Pocket 3 as the main filming camera outdoors. I didn't film the whole tutorials with that, only some certain parts I needed. I used the DJI Mic Mini with it as it is already all connected. And here comes the train of my really dumb thoughts. Of course, every time I was using this, I was amazed how great it is. And I thought to myself, maybe I should not even bother bringing the heavy and big Sony camera with me anymore because this is so light, so small, so portable. There's already a gimbal on it. It can track me. But there is this big but. Very big but. I've been working as a photographer for 20 years now, and I'm used to carrying the big gun, and when I used to shoot weddings, I had two of them. One big gun and the second big gun on each side. So when you show up and you pull out the big camera, it makes you look professional, right? And then when I show up and pull out this, the mojo is going down. So yeah, this is my really dumb thinking. Who is with me on this one? Who's got the same problem? People judge based on what camera you use, and it's just so wrong. Many times strangers come to me and they start the conversation, the typical photographer introduction talk. What camera do you have? What lens are you using? I'm a photographer too, my name is blah, blah, blah. But when I use this outdoors, nobody comes to me. They just smile and just walk by. Don't get me wrong, I'm not looking for an attention. I'm introvert. I really actually don't feel comfortable in a public by myself. If I have friends with me, it's okay, it's a different story, but I just stay away from people. That's why I prefer filming somewhere alone in the nature. I'll get over it and slowly bring this thing with me more often, as once you use it, you realize how amazing this really is. The fact that the gimbal is already there and tracking It just makes the process so much faster and easier. I have ND filters for it, I have wide angle lens and mist filter, small bag with everything I need. But no, Zdenka is dragging the big Sony, the big heavy camera. Anyways, moving on. I covered the main camera. When I know I will be filming on a location where I can use a drone, I bring the Hover Air X1 Pro Max. I like this tool. I love that the moves are programmed, no remote needed. It takes off and lands on your hand. The only thing that bugs me is that it's not too quiet when it flies. Again, I don't like the attention. I use it at places where I'm by myself. I also have hover ND filters for it. When I film in places where I'm not allowed to use drone, I always bring with me Insta360 X4 camera, the extra long invisible selfie stick, and mini tripod for it. It's perfect. I love it. I get the shots I need. It really doesn't bother me to pull it out in a public. People usually laugh when they see the huge stick. I am quite uncomfortable flying a drone in front of people though. I figured out some tweaks in the Insta360 desktop software where I can make it look even further away by zooming out even more. You can really fake some drone shots with this very well. I don't use guards with it. I just use it the way it is. So the hover drone or Insta360 X4 goes to my bag only if I know I will need it. Before I get to tripods, there is actually one more item that has permanent spot in my bag. It's this 140 watt power bank. You can charge a laptop, smartphone, gimbal, anything. I also bring it with me to dance competitions, for example, when I'm there the whole day, and I use my phone a lot. iPhones are terrible when it comes to battery life. So I just leave it in a bag and it charges as I go on. Many times I forgot to charge a gimbal before the shoot, so as I was driving, I was charging it, and also between the takes, when I was walking from place to place. This is a really great item to have. I highly recommend this. I have the bigger size. They also sell smaller size. By the way, all the gear I'm showing is linked below the video. Let's talk about tripods. Right now for outdoors, I'm using this very lightweight, small rig CT180 tripod. I bought it last year to replace my old broken one. I like that it is super light and it can go high, but I'm very sorry to say I don't recommend it. I have to frequently check if something is not loose. I almost lost a few parts already and it just gets loose too often. I don't like the turning knobs. As many times I turn it the wrong way and the camera just goes to one side when I let go. The one I had before was amazing, but they don't make it anymore, unfortunately. Let's get to smartphone. As I film tutorials and with different gear, so I need to bring different items all the time, here and there I forget something. And one of the most forgotten items is this smartphone clamp. And then I have to return home to get it. It drives me nuts. So what I do now, I just keep a smartphone tripod in the back. Yes, it's a tripod. It's by Craft Geek and they call it Just Tap Selfie Stick Tripod. I use it quite a bit. I also bring it to hip hop classes. Just one tap and it opens up. It can go pretty high. It already has a clamp built in that you can adjust at any angle. And the best thing, there is a little remote that is connected to phone through Bluetooth. Thomas took it to wall climbing place to record himself and take some photos, and he just loved it. When it comes to climbing, with his height, all he has to do just really reach up. He's 6'3". I hope he's gonna stop there. The tripod is very light and small, which is what I really like about it. And I love the tap feature. No unfolding, turning knobs and all that. Just pull it right up. They should come up with a system like this for bigger cameras. That would be amazing. I would use it instead of that one for sure. Other small items I bring with me are extra battery. a cleaning cloth for lenses and my glasses. If I'm filming in the winter, I bring hand warmers. Luckily, so far, I haven't needed to use it, but I keep it there just in case. I also bring Kleenexes and something to drink. So this is all I need when it comes to filming outdoor tutorials. Again, I don't bring it all. I only grab what I need for the day. You are most likely wondering when I'm going to mention smartphone gimbal. I don't use them to film tutorials. I use them as the main tool to show you, to teach tutorials, or I use them for special projects. Speaking of special projects, I'm just finishing a bucket shoot I did last summer. It's called The Dark Angel. I'm currently interviewing all the main characters, and once I have that done, then I'll pull it up together. We have a lot of behind the scenes, all the photos are done. I will let you know in advance when it's gonna run. It was a special photography project. I already have a theme picked for this year for a special project. It's gonna be a pretty big production. We are already starting working on it right now. It's going to be fashion cinematic video / music video involving dancers, hip hop and breakdance. Last night we had first discussion, official meeting. This is how it went. They actually asked me to try. I'm like, no. Right now, I'm in a process of finding the right song. I want something very dynamic, where the rhythm is changing. There are a lot of transitions. It just needs to be very dynamic. I'm using Epidemic Sound for that. So once we have the music, then I have to write a story based on the lyrics. Then I have to write each scene, plan that very well, and also transitions. The dancers will need to come up with their choreography for certain parts, and they have to memorize it because it will be shot many, many times. I'm thinking of using Hohem iSteady M7 as the main gimbal for it. I might also use Insta360 Flow 2 Pro because there are some AI effects that I can use, and it's gonna help me so I don't have to do everything in the post. I might use Hover for some drone shots and also Insta360 X4. Now, behind the scenes will be filmed. I'm gonna be creating a chain of tutorials when it comes to filming, directing, working with talent, and video editing. So it's gonna be a pretty massive project for 2025. I'm very pumped, very excited. That's something I always wanted to do. It's definitely my bucket shot idea, and it's on the list, but it's gonna be challenging, even for me. So that's the plan for 2025. Give it a thumbs up if you liked today's video. Don't forget to subscribe for more, and I'll see you in one of those next. Ciao, ahoj.